Marvel fans, Avengers Doomsday is shaping up to be the MCU's biggest event in years. But what if it doesn't live up to the hype? The MCU spent over a decade building toward Infinity War and Endgame, and fans are hungry for epic battles, emotional payoffs, and the return of our favorite heroes. But the road to Doomsday is already littered with potential pitfalls. Too many reveals, multiverse confusion, gimmicky cameos, and a sprawling roster could leave this Avengers finale feeling hollow, and Marvel can't afford to fumble here. I'm Braden, and I've been breaking down the MCU from the sidelines for years. And today, we're diving into the 5 biggest reasons why Doomsday might actually disappoint and what could save it. We're going to cover it all. One of the things that made Endgame feel like a once-in-a-generation event was pure unpredictability. Every scene carried stakes, every cameo felt earned, and audiences went in not knowing who would survive or how the story would end. Marvel's marketing machine, while powerful, has a double-edged sword. The more they tease, the less room there is for audiences to feel shock, awe, and general surprise. It's like seeing your birthday presents a week early. By the time you open them, the magic's gone. If Doomsday wants to recapture the awe and emotional punch of the Infinity Saga, Marvel needs to hold back, protect the secrets, and let fans experience the story rather than the marketing. And I know that leakers have a big part to play in this as well. But without that, even a high-stakes finale can feel predictable. What they've revealed so far is likely just the tip of the iceberg, and there's still plenty of surprises, plenty of strategies that Marvel has to keep things under wraps, and here's hoping that Marvel keeps things that way. But here's the bigger issue. Without a strong emotional core, the spectacle just won't hit the way it should. Endgame worked because it wasn't just about spectacle. It was about the people we'd followed for over a decade. Tony Stark and Steve Rogers weren't just powerful heroes. They were the emotional anchor of the entire MCU. Their struggles, their victories, and sacrifices gave weight to the chaos around them, giving audiences someone to care about, cheer for, and mourn with. It all felt meaningful because we understood what was on the line for them. That kind of emotional backbone is exactly what made the Infinity Saga resonate beyond the screen. Fast forward to today, and the MCU is facing a serious challenge. The newer heroes, Kate Bishop, Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, they have potential, but as of now, the newer heroes haven't yet fully established the emotional weight that Tony and Steve had. But there's potential for Doomsday to change that. The connective tissue between them isn't fully formed yet. We haven't seen years of shared triumphs, personal stakes, or relationships that pull at the heartstrings. And as a result, when we imagine a movie like Doomsday, it risks becoming a crowded spectacle. Dozens of heroes, endless action sequences, but little emotional resonance. Without someone, or even a few characters, grounding the story, no victory feels earned, no sacrifice feels poignant, and no loss hits the audience like it did with Tony or Steve. Marvel can fill the screen with crossovers, multiversal chaos, and jaw-dropping visuals, but without characters we truly care about, all that spectacle risks feeling hollow. Heart is the glue that transforms a chaotic ensemble into a story that we invest in, giving weight to every choice, every sacrifice, and every victory. And without it, even the most ambitious Avengers showdown could leave audiences cheering at explosions, but emotionally checked out. The good news, 2025 has quietly started to build that emotional foundation. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four gave us characters with stakes, personalities, and arcs we can actually root for, providing a springboard for the struggles and triumphs that they will inevitably face in Doomsday. If Marvel leverages these threads thoughtfully, the film could recapture the sense of care and investment that made the Infinity Saga so unforgettable. There's still work to do, but at least the pieces are now on the board, and that's enough to spark cautious optimism. The return of Robert Downey Jr., this time as Doctor Doom, is undeniably bold and attention-grabbing, and I, for one, love the idea. And while it can absolutely thrill fans, there's a lot of sentiments going around that it teeters on the edge of gimmicky territory, and that RDJ's presence alone could generate hype, but it risks undermining the emotional weight of Tony Stark's original arc. So you couple that with an already crazy multiverse and a smorgasbord of cameos, and the movie could risk feeling like a flashy parade of set pieces. And without grounded stakes, the emotional core might get lost. Marvel has to thread a delicate needle. Inventive risks are exciting, but they cannot replace strong storytelling. Each twist, whether it's a returning hero, multiversal cameos, or a shocking reveal, has to serve the characters, their journeys, and the stakes of the story. Otherwise, the audiences may be dazzled, but emotionally disconnected. The glimmer of hope is the Russos, RDJ, Stephen McFeely, and Kevin Feige have been developing this idea for years, and they've talked extensively about this idea that activated them and made them say yes to coming back. If anyone can take a high concept return and turn it into something that both thrills and resonates and brings us back to the glory days of the MCU, it's this team. So while a gimmick potential is real, the pedigree behind it gives fans reason to believe that this story could land in a way that's satisfying and memorable. After all, Russos plus Kevin Feige times Marvel equals magic squared. I don't know, something like that. Even if gimmicks like RDJ's return or multiversal chaos land, there's another huge hurdle Marvel has to clear. The spectacle only works if the stakes feel real, and right now the multiverse has dulled that edge. Doomsday has to remind us why we care, why the fate of the Avengers and the universe actually matters. The multiverse saga has delivered spectacle, but it's also left a growing sense of fatigue among fans and moviegoers alike. Jumping between timelines, alternate realities, and infinite variants has dulled the stakes. Endgame worked because there was weight behind every character. There was weight behind every choice. Heroes risked everything. Losses were permanent, and victories truly mattered. Doomsday has to restore that sense of finality, grounding the chaos in stakes that feel real and urgent without clear rules and consequences. Even a massive Avengers showdown risks feeling like a cartoonish crossover rather than an emotionally engaging story. The film must make us care again, not just for individual characters, but for the very fate of the multiverse. And our glimmer of hope? Enter Doctor Doom. Doom will aura farm across the screen in a way that makes fans sit up, gasp, and possibly even pee their pants. His mastery over the multiverse could finally inject that real sense of danger, dissolving the entire multiverse into one single battle world scenario where consequences actually matter. Doom's presence will make everything feel urgent again, restoring tension and giving the audience the high stakes, pulse-pounding thrill that the multiverse has been missing. While Phase 4 and 5 haven't featured any true ensemble Avengers films, Marvel has still been juggling a huge number of characters and storylines across multiple movies and Disney Plus shows, from Shang-Chi to Daredevil, Ms. Marvel to She-Hulk, and across multiversal chaos, the universe sometimes feels like it's spinning too many plates at once. Doomsday risks repeating that problem, trying to give every character a moment, every cameo a punchline, and every multiversal thread a payoff could dilute the emotional and narrative impact. So the key is focus. A few characters done exceptionally well, with clear arcs and stakes, is always stronger than dozens of underdeveloped heroes. I mean, look at Infinity War. It had dozens of characters, but they all served a single coherent goal: stop Thanos. That simplicity gave the story weight, suspense, and clarity. But the glimmer of hope is that we can still have faith that Doomsday will avoid collapsing under its own ambition. This is seriously the Russos' greatest strength. Carefully mapping out character arcs, stakes, and threads is something they know all too well. If anyone can take a sprawling ensemble and make it feel cohesive, high stakes, and emotionally grounded, it's this team. With the right execution, Doomsday could strike that perfect balance between spectacle and storytelling. So at the end of the day, Doomsday is walking a tightrope. Too much revealed too early, an emotional vacuum, risky gimmicks, multiverse fatigue, and a crowded roster could trip it all up. But Marvel has a history of defying expectations. They have a history of being the underdog. And with the Russos, Oscar-winning RDJ, Kevin Feige, and Stephen McFeely steering the ship, there's a reason to believe they know exactly how to balance scale, stakes, and heart, and maybe deliver us one of the best projects in the Russos' catalog. Even with the odds stacked against them, carefully crafted story, well-chosen heroes, and well-kept secrets could make Doomsday the Avengers event fans have been waiting for. If If you want more breakdowns like this, behind the scenes intel, and hot MCU takes, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. And with that, I will catch you on the flippity flip.